everybody, we are back today, and we actually have one of our newest sponsors. As you guys have learned over the past couple of weeks, we have introduced sponsors to the podcast for the first time ever, and one of our very first sponsors to sign up and reoccurring guest is Dan from DB360 Softwash. How are you, Dan?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. Thanks so much for coming in to hang out with me and spend time. We are still kind of homeless. We're practicing out of my real estate office still right now until I find that perfect home for the studio. Been looking at a lot, but we're still dealing with it.
Yep, I know that.
So, Dan, you've been on. We talked about all kinds of different things, from the grid off of your roof to whatever that other thing is.
Clear caps and
Yep, that. Yeah. I was never going to be able to say that. So let's start off with remind everybody what it is you do, what your company is, and who you are.
So I'm Dan from DB360 Softwash. Our company's been in business now for 10 years. And we started off, we used to pressure wash homes. And in 2015, at the end of 2015, we switched over to soft washing. And we did that because pressure washing is very erosive to siding, roofs, all sorts of things. And if you soft wash your house, it'll never get cleaner. You'll never get it cleaner by pressure washing. Also, our process lasts 4 to 6 times longer. We use about a third the water. So, for example, when we used to pressure wash a ranch house, it'd probably take us about 3 to 4 hours. Now we can soft wash a house in about 45 minutes to an hour. So we use a third the water. So we use 900 gallons of water, pressure washing it. Soft washing, we use around 240, 260 gallons of water. Also, all of our products are environmentally friendly. They break down into carbon and water. So over time, that's good. What else? So for roofs. So roofs have that black streak. It's called Gliocapsa magma. Most people just think it's a dark spot that looks unsightly. It's actually a living organism. It's eating the limestone in your roof. So if you ask roofers, a typical roof lasts around 22 years. Why? Because people do not take care of the roof. They don't kill that Gliocapsa magma. If you pressure wash it off your roof, it's still going to be there. You still have that organic material in your roof, so it's going to come back within 6 months. And plus, if you pressure wash your roof, you're going to take off those little granules. Those granules are there for 2 reasons. One, it reflects the sun's rays when it hits your roof. And the second one, of course, is decorative. You want the house to look good. That's kind of like what it is for the roofs and kind of like our process. The other reason you don't want to pressure wash your house, there's lots of times siding you have aluminum siding, you have vinyl siding. It becomes oxidized over time from the UV rays from the sun hitting your side of the house. And that's that white chalky stuff. You take your hand, you wipe it on the house, and you get that white chalky. That's oxidation. So our cleaning process does not remove the oxidation, but if you pressure wash it, everywhere the pressure washer wand stops, it leaves like a line. Or it can remove some of the chalkiness, and it just looks weird when it's done pressure washing. I'd say every year we probably get about 6 to 10 calls from customers who've had their house pressure washed. It looks unsightly, and they want to know if we can fix it. And we say, yes, we can, and we do. But I usually, to be honest with you, I reach out to the people who actually did the home to begin with, and I ask them, do you want to know how to correct the problem and prevent it? I'm willing to show them for free. I try to make the community better by improving processes. And I would say 99% of the time, those people say no. You know what I mean? I'm trying to educate them, and they don't want to learn how to improve their processes or fix the house that they screwed up. But, it is. That's why we are a leader in the industry. If you look at our Google reviews, we have fantastic Google reviews. We do not pay our customers to get Google reviews. They give them out of the kindness of their heart and because of the job that we do.
I actually have completely forgot about giving you a Google review.
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah,
so stop that. Because so Dan does all of my stuff. He's my aunt reminded me that I never did get hers done. So I was like, we'll get that done this year. Yeah. But you even did my neighbor's house. You've done quite a few of our sellers' houses. Yep. We trust you greatly. You have a project for me right now that you're working on. So one of the fun facts that I learned about you that I don't think our listeners know about you is you don't just stop at residential.
No. We do
So what else do you do?
We do a lot of commercial work. So we did about 940 homes last year, just houses, residential. Insane. I know. And then, so we do a lot of commercial work too. We do commercial work for, we can wash buildings. Plaza 21 right down here. We washed that building last October. It's a 4 or 5 story building.
Wow.
We do a lot of work for some of the top painting companies in these areas. They don't like to wash their buildings, so we wash them for them before they paint. We do oxidation removal on those buildings, which we can also do with obviously residential.
Yeah.
And I work with a lot of real estate agents, and Nick being one of the top ones for sure. In fact, well, most of them work for you anyhow. So.
Right.
So I guess really it all comes back to you. No, we do actually do a lot of commercial work. We've done more commercial work last year than we have done. Now, we have 2 types of commercial work. One is buildings. The other one are HOAs. So with the HOAs, the real thing with them is they can't hear us there because all of our equipment's 12 volt unless we use a pressure washer to do concrete. But when we're doing somebody's building, we're all 12 volt. It's all electric. Another reason why we're environmentally friendly. So when we're there working, the only thing you hear is the water hitting the building. And it's the pressure of a garden hose. So you don't have to worry if you're doing a Zoom meeting, hearing the pressure washer. You're trying to lay your kids down to sleep, you hear that pressure washer. And when you're usually out in HOA, you're there for, if you only have 1 truck, you could be there for weeks. We have 4 trucks, so we try to gang up on it and be out of there in 2 days, 3 days to get it all done, and we're out of everybody's hair. So that's one of the fun facts about us, yes.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that I thought of because there was somebody complaining the one time about their HOA, and I said to him, and it was around the pressure washing, and I was like, well, here's a phone number. Call this one. Have the board decide to use him.
And so my biggest thing is I reach out to a lot of the PMI companies around here, the property management companies, and I always tell them, same thing. Look, I already know you have somebody to use all the time, which is great. If you have somebody, I'm not here to, if you have a good doctor, I'm not here to, take away your doctor.
No.
I'm not here to take away that company. But if you have a little project that they don't want to do or they don't have time to do something, reach out to us and we'll give you a price and we'll do it. Well, we're very anal about how we do everything. And usually what happens is they'll call us and say, hey, I have, my guy can't do it. Can you do this building? Well, we always go around and do a pre-inspection. We take pictures, and we take pictures of everything. We take pictures of the property, like if they have loose siding, cracked windows, just different things that you find on HOAs. And then we provide that HOA a report on that building so that they know that there's already issues. We also pressure test all the spigots, outside spigots. And what I mean by pressure testing is we connect a hose up to it, turn the water on, kink the hose. If you still hear that water running, that means you have a defrost tube that is broke. Well, I would say a lot of the washers around here don't do that. We do that because we don't want water going back into the house. So if you have a busted defrost tube, the water still comes out through the spigot, but since there's pressure, there's water going back into the house or the HOA basement or whatever. Yeah. So I provide that report to the HOA, and most of the time they're very happy to know, I didn't know I had a broken window or we had loose siding. I like to, and the next thing I know, they're using me for everything because we provide them with all that information. Plus, we have meters on all of our trucks. We tell them exactly how many gallons of water we used out of each unit. Now, there are some instances where we don't use the water out of the units. We get a water meter and we take it right out of the fire hydrant. We get a license. We have a license to do that with a few of the water companies around here. We get a meter and we take it right from the fire hydrant instead of the person's property. So
Interesting. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, we do that. We do that
That's
for
cool.
a very large project around here. We used the water, and the people wanted reimbursed for the water. So it's $9.08 for 1,000 gallons. We'd never use 1,000 gallons, but we used to give them more. We give them $15. But then they had some of the people complaining that we were hooking up to the husbands, and I get it. So we decided just to get a water meter, and so this year we did that whole facility with a water meter from, off the fire hydrant. Very easy for us to do. It doesn't matter to us either way. We'll do it either way.
Yeah,
so.
But that's really cool. I didn't know that. One, I didn't know you could do that, and two, that is cool that you were able to accommodate that to make everybody happy and stop the Karens of the world.
Yeah, and that's the truth. That's just like, some people are like, oh, why use my water? Well, we're give you $15. We always, before we even go out and use the water, I have one of my territory managers or myself go around and talk to the people and see if we can use their water. And most of the time they say yes, and we tell them we're going to reimburse them for it. And it's not like that with all HOAs. Some of the HOAs, the water's already paid for by the HOA because that's how they have it set up.
Yeah.
So it's only really one place we do that for. Now, there's a place in Carlisle that we're going to be doing, and the same thing. We're going to rent a water meter. But Carlisle, you have to rent the water meter from the borough of Carlisle because they have their own water. So you have Carlisle, you have PA Water, you have Viola Water, which used to be Suez. There's a bunch of water companies around here, and they all do things differently, which is fine. But, it's just a pain point you don't have to worry about. It's a pain point that I worry about. So.
That's interesting. You never get to see the whole intricate behind the scene of stuff. Because, I didn't know any of that. I just knew you showed up to my house, you did your thing, and you left.
Well, big thing. Well, so, good point. So, a lot of people don't know. Because people don't know us. What makes us so much different than everybody else? Well, when we show up to your house, we go around and we bag off all your electric, especially the newer homes. The newer homes are built terrible, to be honest with you. So we bag off the electric. Sometimes we tape it off. So before we get started, and then we wash your house. When we're done, we do your windows with a window wash. It's not like we're window cleaners. It's not going to be spot free, but it's not going to be soap scum and everything else on it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Sometimes they come out looking great. Other times they come out looking okay. It really depends on the hardness of the water. I know the water companies have to keep their contaminant in the water below a certain level, and they do have it below that level. The problem is there's more and more homes being built, so the water level keeps getting higher. The more, what do they call it, the parts per million is getting higher and higher. They're still under the threshold, but there's more parts per million and minerals in the water, so the water's harder. And people realize that now because before a water heater would last them like 8 years. Now they're lasting 6 years because of all the calcium and all the other stuff that's in the water, clogging up the water and
the filament,
the filters and all that stuff. But anyhow, so when we get done with that, like I said, we do the windows, and then the last thing we do is we hit all your plants with a plant wash. I know we're the only company around here that does that because it's costly. So what we do is, even though we wet your plants, when we're done, we water all your plants with a plant wash. It neutralizes any of the soaps we use. It has a gypsum in it for the soil to put the good bacteria back in the soil, and also has a plant food. So we kind of cover everything as much as we can. And even though in our terms and conditions it says we're not responsible if you lose an outlet or something like that, because sometimes water gets behind. So last year, like I said, we washed 943 homes. I think we had 2 homes where we had an outlet that, actually one house had actually 2 outlets, which was crazy. We never had that before. That got burned up. And the homeowner let us know. Well, it's in our terms and conditions, but we don't care. We work with an electrician. We have them go out there right away, take care of us, and they send us the bill. My point is, it's not to create you an issue, me coming out and cleaning your house. The issue is I clean your house. If there's an issue, we take care of it. But if you really look at it, 2 homes out of 943 is nothing. I mean, you don't want to be one of those 2 homes. You know what I mean? But, yeah.
I don't know. That's a 0.002% ratio. I had to. We're going to have to talk about your conversion.
No kidding.
So, when I refer you to people, I think one of the biggest things that I like to share with them is not only a lot of what you shared. Obviously, I don't talk about the chemicals or the whatever the hell's on the roof, because I'll never be able to say it. Right. But I talk about the professionalism and when the guys come out, they're just as poised and as nice and as kind and as professional as you. Thanks. So, talk to me a little bit about what you do when you hire somebody to come work for you.
So we are very stringent on our hiring process. And I haven't hired any, well, that's not true. I did hire 2 guys this year.
We got to replace that Jody woman.
Yeah, I do. So we hired 2 new guys this year, but we are very, like every day we go through a meeting, and I personally believe that people don't learn anything. Like if you hear a song for the first time, you're not going to remember it. You hear it 10 times, you start remembering the chorus, and after a while, you know the whole song. Same thing. So every week we have a meeting every morning, and we'll say, hey, to everybody, don't forget, our process lasts 4 to 6 times longer. We use 1/3 less water. We use environmentally friendly products. And, we talk about the 3 Ds, divert, dilute, and decontaminate. It's okay to say that, but really, do they know what they mean? And so we'll ask them, what does that mean? What does it mean to divert, dilute, or decontaminate? How do we do that? And what's that process? And what does it mean? Because the customer's might ask you. Just because you know terminology doesn't make you a professional. Mm-hmm. All of our guys are dressed the same. We expect high standards of all of our guys. And the other thing is, I pay my guys really well. And when they get a Google review, so if they get 1 Google review for that week, they get $5. If they get 2 Google reviews, they get $10 for each. If they get 3, they get $15 for each. So basically, if they get 1 Google review, they get $15. 3 Google reviews, they get $45. I pay them up to 5 Google reviews, but if they get 6, I still pay them the $25 for each one. The reason I do that is because they are poised to do the best job they can because they want to get that Google review, that good Google review. We don't pay for Google reviews. We're not one of those companies that say, hey, I'll take $25 off if you give me a 5-star Google review. That'll never happen. I don't run my businesses that way. So they're really cognizant of the job they do, how they treat their customer. We are like the Chick-fil-A. I don't know if I'm allowed to use that or not.
You're good.
Chick-fil-A of the cleaning industry. We want to make sure you have a great experience. We're there to provide a service and to make sure you're super happy when we leave. And my guys want to get a Google review. They want to get a tip or whatever. So that's how we've become so successful, is because we really try to serve the public. Just like you don't, just want to get a listing. You want to sell the house. You want to, which you have sold my mom's house, and you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
We were actually blown away, to be honest with you. I mean, me and my sisters, we were like, oh my gosh, we did not expect the service that we got, and it was detailed. I know this about me at the moment, but I'm telling you.
Thank you.
I cannot believe how you guys laid everything else and gave us the choices, which one were the best and why, and necessarily wasn't on the highest price. We were floored. It was awesome. You guys did a great job, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Anyhow.
We do pride ourselves.
Yeah, you guys do a great job.
So when we look at what is in the future for the next 5 years with DB360 Softwash, what is it?
Growing. We are growing like crazy. So it's hard. We have systems all in place. I'm very anal when it comes to numbers and systems, as you already know. So I try to have systems in place so that we can grow. We just got another truck, another system. In 5 years, we will probably have 12 trucks.
Nice.
And we will cover a very large territory. And my business will be more turnkey. In other words, since I have systems in place, it's not necessarily that I'd go away for a month right now and things would run fine. I want to be able to go forever and run fine. Not that that's what I'm going to do. That means if I can do that,
control freak.
Everything, exactly.
You'll be there.
Yeah, exactly. But I want everything to run so that everybody realizes that I'm not needed and that they're doing a great job. If you have the right people in the right places doing the job, you don't have to worry about mistakes and errors or them not doing their job correctly. So, like I said, when we started this business when we hired our first employee back in 2018 or 17, that was before $15 an hour was a thing. So I remember we had a discussion and between my wife and my brother-in-law who owns a business with me, DB, Dan, and Bob. And we were talking about how much we should pay the employees. And they were thinking $13 an hour. I'm like, we want to do 15. They're like, oh my gosh, $15 an hour. I said, what's $2 times 40? It's an extra $80. It's worth it to get a good employee. If you go at $13 an hour, you're going to get all the $10 an hour employees trying to make 13.
Yeah.
If you go to 15, you're going to get your $13 an hour. A better employee trying to make 15. Well, we start everybody way above that now. And as soon as they're working for me for a month, we give them a $1 increase right away, plus all the perks we have.
Nice.
No one makes, so if you start out at $18, you're making $19 within a month. And then all my guys make way more than that because of all the perks we have. One of them being the Google reviews.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. If you get 4 Google reviews, that's $120. And you divide that by 40, that's an extra $3 an hour. You know, so you're going from 19, now you're making 23. So it's really about building a business and a good business.
Correct.
And that doesn't mean you suck all the money out of the business for yourself.
Correct.
We take a lot less money to make sure that we have good people, because I don't want a scrub coming to your house.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, is that what you want? I mean,
Correct.
I don't want that. I want to pay for somebody to come to my house who wants to do a good job. I could pay $99 and I come out and wash my house, and then 2 weeks later my plants die or they leave, and you know they have a outside outlet that doesn't work, and they're like, oh, it's in our terms and conditions. You know, it should have been waterproof. It should have been a GFI. Well, you and I both know that homes get older.
Correct.
The newer homes are not built as up to par as some of the older homes, to be honest with you.
Correct.
And so if you don't take the precautions like prepping the job site by taping off the outlets or bagging off the electric, you run into these problems. And we don't run into these problems.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes sense or not.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So right now, what is your current territory that you guys can comfortably service?
So we service Cumberland County, Dauphin County, Perry County, Lancaster. We do a lot of work in Lancaster. We send a truck down there every week. And we've been getting in New York just because we have so many people calling us. And this is the honest truth. We've actually had a couple of them say, look, I know I'm willing to pay a little bit more for you to come down because I've seen what you did to my friend's place, you know, and so they want that same service. So we do serve down in New York now. So
in that 5-year time frame when you got the 12 trucks, what will be that desired area that you're servicing then?
It'll probably be the same service area.
Okay.
The reason I say that, so think of it this way. There's 252,000 homes in Cumberland County. Okay. There might be a little bit more than that right now. But this is 2 years ago. There's 252,000 homes. So if you take 1 out of every 100 homes, that's 2,250 homes. I watched 940. You know what I mean? That's just Cumberland County. So that'd be like 1 out of every 400 homes. Actually 1 out of every 200 homes. But I do Dauphin County, Perry County too, plus Lancaster. 12 trucks we could easily, we couldn't service everybody. It's just not enough. And there's a lot of guys in this area that wash. There's some of them that are really good, and there's some of them that are really bad. And the ones that are really bad are the ones who don't have insurance and don't have an HIC number or a PA number, whatever you want to call it. HIC is the Home Improvement Contractor's number that you get to the Attorney General. And anybody can check it. In fact, you can go to our website and just click on that PA number. It takes you to the Attorney General's website. And they can check ours or anybody else's. So that's why we don't have any of our information, our cards or anything says that we're fully insured. The expectation is when you come out the house, you should already be fully insured. Why do I have to tell you that? If I have to tell you that, there's an issue. You know what I mean?
Correct.
That's like telling you that I'm a professional. Well, you should already be a professional, you know? Correct. Anyhow, maybe I'm going too much into the weeds.
No, you're good. You're good.
But like I said, there's a lot of good guys out there. But there's a lot of guys out there, too, that are not good, too. So
I think the point there is do your research.
Do your research,
Know what's...
And you can even call me and ask me. I'll tell you whether a guy's good or not. Well, I will say I would use him, or I'd say, well, I'd look further. I don't try to bash anybody.
Yeah.
But I know the ones out there that are good. And I know the ones that are rotten. Because we get calls Not the rotten guys come out and fix their work. And I
Yeah.
reach out to them and I ask them, let me help you.
Yeah.
But they're a one and done shop. They're like, they'll come out, wash your place.
And their ego.
And their ego, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, yeah.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with me again
Yep.
today. It's always a pleasure to get to spend time with you. We never get to see each other. So, and thank you for your sponsorship for the podcast. We greatly appreciate it.
Oh, awesome, yeah.
And guys, again, Dan is somebody I can recommend with my eyes closed because I never have to even concern myself whether I'm going to get that awful phone call of who did you send to my house, which I've had that happen. Not with Dan, though. So you guys are looking for somebody to do a soft wash of your home, which is also going to last much longer than a power wash. This is the guy to check out. You're going to be hearing his ad on a weekly basis. Plus, you can find him on our sponsorship page on our website. So, as always, tune in, subscribe, and follow from there.